The ISO is so good it got banned from rank play. This is because it is a very consistent 3-shot kill. All you have to do is land 3 shots somewhere in the body. And to put it in perspective, the TAC 56 can only 3-shot kill if you hit the upper chest. Really curious on your thoughts if this weapon should have been banned from rank play or not. In my opinion, I'm glad it got banned. Yes, it does add a lot of variety. It's a very fun weapon to use, but I just feel like it was way too easy and just too cheese. With the TAC, I feel like it adds a little bit more of a competitive edge on there. It's just not as easy to use, and so in my opinion, I'm pretty happy, but let me know in the comments. With all that said though, here is the overview of the class I was running in the MGB gameplay. I believe this is like the best equipment and stuff to use if you want to drop an MGB. When we first use this weapon, you guys can see overall this weapon has very good stats right off the bat. It doesn't even really need attachments. The iron sights are a little bit wonky, but overall very easy weapon to use. Since those iron sights are so bad though, I'm gonna go ahead and throw on an optic. If you don't want to run an optic, I'll give you a variation of the build, but for me, I recommend running an optic. And for the tuning on this guy, I'm just gonna increase that flinch resistance. Well, the game doesn't want me to, but I'm gonna go ahead and increase that, and then the flinch resistance will make it a lot easier to stay on target, and then we'll still have a very snappy ADS. And then for this bottom bar, the farther you make the sight, the smaller the enemies are gonna be, but the more FOV you're gonna have. Plus, there's gonna be less visual recoil, so it's just a personal preference thing. Next up, we are going to go ahead and add a little bit more mobility to the weapon, but we don't want to use a stock like the RCOM, which is going to add a lot of mobility, but then we're going to have a lot of cons, which previously this was my favorite stock, and I still really like the stock, but overall I found that the res was just a tad bit more consistent. This is going to add a little bit more mobility. It's pretty much 0 cons at all, and you guys will see in the gameplay I am completely beaming, but just so you guys know, the RCOM is literally almost just as good. This one's really fun if you want like so much mobility. I do recommend it. For the tuning on the res, you want to increase the overall mobility. This is going to make the weapon feel a lot better. It's just going to be a lot more fun to use, and you guys got the tuning before it freaking moved. Next up, we are going to be adding a little bit more mobility. I got 2 different options for you. So for me, I really like the X10, but I know of a couple of very good friends who like the Phantom. They are completely cracked at the game, and they do a lot better with the Phantom, but I don't like the Phantom because you are losing flinch resistance. So if the enemy is shooting at you, your sight is going to shake around a little bit more, and so then it might be hard to land your shots, and so that's why I like the X10. And for the tuning on this guy, we're just going to increase the overall mobility again. And by the way, this isn't based on a linear scale, which means you actually get the most amount of ADS speed when you increase it here rather than if you were to max that out. Next up, because we have so much mobility on this build, we are going to go ahead and increase the overall mobility of the weapon, and a great way to do so is to add the Sock and Tread 40. I believe this specializes in the horizontal recoil control, and the horizontal is very hard to control because it bounces left to right rather than like on the Y-axis. And for the tuning, we are going to go ahead and increase the horizontal recoil control by increasing recoil stabilization, and then bring up the gun kick control, which is going to reduce the vertical recoil, and so now the gun should be an absolute beam. That being said, we are still going to add one more recoil control attachment, more so to bring down the overall sway of the weapon. And if we take a look at the sway, there is a decent amount of sway on the weapon, and so this is going to give you unpredictable recoil in your gunfights, and so it's really nice, or it's very crucial to reduce the sway. And a great way to do so is to go over to the underbarrel. You guys can probably guess you want to throw on the Shark Fin 90. This is going to add a lot of aiming stability without that many cons, which it says that there's no cons, but when we go ahead and tune it, you kind of build in some cons. Like when we increase the recoil stabilization, it's going to bring down the ADS speed, and then we're going to bring up the aiming stability, but we're going to lose a little bit of strafe, but overall you're pretty much only going to feel the pros. There is one more variation of the build, and I do recommend you guys to try this out. I personally don't really care to use it, although when I was playing ranked, I was using the phase 3 grip. This is going to really reduce that recoil on the weapon. The only con is that we're losing a little bit more mobility, which is why it might be nice to run the Phantom grip. For me though, I'm just going to use the X10 and then pair it up with the phase 3 underbarrel if I am playing competitive, like some GBs or wagers and some stuff. For the public matches where you can run around and have a little bit more fun and not every single shot counts, I would run the Shark Fin 90. And for the tuning on here, I'll just increase stability and the recoil stabilization like the Shark Fin 90. And here is my ranked play ISO setup, and I'll usually use this setup if I'm playing against very sweaty players. Say the players aren't the best, I'm going to swap out that phase 3 for the Shark Fin 90 so I can have a little bit more fun, run around the map a little bit more fluidly. So another great setup for the weapon. This is going to be more of a long... Oh, I got a close range one too. This one's a fucking menace. This thing's insane. Before that though, I just want to show you guys my long range one. This one's pretty fun on search and destroy if I'm just trying to sit back and be annoying. Pretty much running the same thing again. If you want, you can take off that phase phase 3 grip and add like the shark fin 90, but we got the same tuning, and then we're running the barrel to increase the overall firepower of the weapon. There is a lot of cons though. We're losing a lot of our ADS speed, but again, this is going to be a slower build if you want to be very dominant at long range. And lastly, for the other build I want to give you, this is going to be like a small SMG version. This thing is so freaking fun. If you want, you can take off this and add the no stock, although I do feel a little bit more consistent when I'm running the raid 90, and so this is my personal preference. There is the tuning for that, and then for this barrel, this adds so much mobility with a lot of cons, and so that might be very annoying. You're not going to have the most damage range, which is why we're running the high. Sometimes, okay, I had the high velocity because I was running this in ranked, but you're going to want to swap it to the armor piercing. For the tuning, you want to tune it the same way. I know it says high velocity, but tune the armor piercing the same exact way. And then for the tuning on the barrel, you want to tune it like this. So it looks like we didn't really do much to that. And then phase 3, there you guys go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I got a couple different gameplays for you guys. If you want to get better, really do recommend this. Just kind of watch how I'm playing, try to mimic it in your own matches. I will be playing a little bit more aggressive because, you know, these players aren't the best, so I can get away with a little bit more, but overall, kind of copy what I'm doing. Try to copy the movements, the drop shots, how I'm like pressing them and everything. And so in this gameplay, we got a lot of clips. Sadly, no nuke. I did cut it up a teensy bit, and you guys will see me die in a second. And then the reason I want to show my deaths is just so you guys can learn a little bit, like see how I die. Look at this gun, boys. Completely beams. I'm so happy it got G8'd, which if you don't know what that means, okay, right there you see me miss my shots. You cannot miss your shots. You don't really learn much from that. Just basically don't miss your shots or else you'll die, you know. You have to be very quick with your kills. You don't really want the enemies to know where you're at. Because I missed those shots, he knew where I was at, so you gotta be on point or do your best. What I was saying though, I'm kind of happy it got GA just because this weapon was so easy to use. I was really popping off like more than I should have, even though like everyone in ranked play was running in those diamond lobbies. But it's like, oh my days, I just feel like it adds a little bit more competitive integrity when there is no ISO in the game. But I am really curious of what your guys' thoughts are on that. And I think I'm going to do a couple of these, like probably like 2 to 3 gameplays every week of me doing the commentary, because it seems like a lot of people like these. If you don't like them, let me know and I'll never do them again. Okay, I gotta focus over here, so I'm using my information on the radar to figure out where the enemies are. Over here, this is a little bit of a sketchy push. I'm kind of sitting in the same area and not really pushing, so I'm just letting them push me. Completely beating that guy. Look how broken this gun is. Look, this is stupid. I pushed the same area again and I missed my shots. You gotta be unpredictable. Call of Duty is a game of predictions. You must be unpredictable, especially in ranked play. You gotta be, you know, in the enemy's head. You do not want them to know where you're at. Over here, I'm just rotating from dome back over to that cliff area and just going back and forth. This is a very good spot on ranked. Like on dome, if you have that control and you're looking over P2, which is where I was just shooting that guy, like no one can really take over that. Like dome is just so hard to die on, pretty much. That's what I'm trying to say. And then I think we get it. I don't think we die at all. I think we go on a pretty good streak, but I think I cut it out or something. But I'm just trying to show you guys over here that the dome spot is so powerful. You can get a lot of kills up here. Although, you know, when all the enemies know you're there, it's a little bit hard to not die. But as long as your teammates are doing their thing, you should be able to easily kill them. Okay, so then we died. The reason I'm showing you this gameplay, we didn't get a nuke. Just kind of watch what I do. I love this first rush route. Go up to top maps, dolphin dive over that balcony into the bottom fortress, and then I loop in. Notice the enemies aren't the best, so I start doing some YYs and jumping around and things like that. But that is like one of my favorite rush routes to do when I am playing ranked or just in general on this map. Now we're up at top railing running around. Now we're up here and we're killing them at the gates. Easy beams. This is a very strong power position. When you're playing ranked, you gotta sit up here. Also, I want to give you guys ranked gameplays, but I'm not like the best at it. Like my best is like 42 kills. I kind of average around 20s, lower 30s, which is good, but it just seems weird to upload a gameplay where I'm going like 1.5 KD. It just feels weird, but if you guys want to see those, let me know. Also, my PC isn't that strong. Like on the gameplay, you guys can see I'm just recording only, and I only have 120 FPS, and so that's decent. But when I'm streaming and recording and playing ranked, I'm like 80 FPS, so it's just like it's a little bit wonky, and I just usually prefer not to record. Basically, if you want to see me play ranked, go to one of my live streams. I try to live stream almost every single day, and if I got a squad on, I'll play some ranked. And look, boys, we still haven't died. I'm being unpredictable. I'm not really letting the enemies predict me. And I don't really have to predict them because we got the advanced UAV up. Kind of tells me where they're at. That's why it's so powerful. When you get this thing up, this is the time to get kills. This is when it's going to be the easiest time to get your kills, and you'll get a lot of progress on your MGB if you are getting the kills when the advanced UAV is up. Because once that advanced UAV is gone, you're kind of screwed. That's why I'm kind of saving my UAV, because I know once the advanced UAV is gone, the enemies always start to play weird and I can't really predict them, and so then I save my UAV for after that. Sometimes I will use it before though, but you know, here I kind of forgot to use it, but it did work out in the end. And I think we get a couple more kills. I know we don't get a nuke. I just want to show you guys where I die. Look at this gun beaming. The 3-shot kill. Easy. This gun's insane. And I think we die right over here. Watch me. Watch how I die. Basically, I was way too aggressive and I missed my shots. This is a good rush route on hotel. We get the nuke in this life. It's just one quick, clean life. So I threw the nade into arches, so then whoever's over there will get stunned. Then I can put my full focus into where I just got that triple kill. Then I can look back at arches, and we're chilling. A lot of this game is just like how you play it rather than like the mechanical skills, like the movement, the aim. Obviously, you got to have those on point, but Call of Duty is more so just like your IQ and your plays. Also, the YYing, the reason people do it is because it kind of gets you ready for a gunfight. It keeps the blood flowing, keeps the muscles going. You know, if you're like hard aiming one area for a long time, then someone runs across, your reaction time isn't the best. But if you're kind of like unaiming, aiming, and then you're YYing a little bit, you're kind of more ready for it. So if you can easily do the YY accurately and everything and not get caught off guard, I would do it. As long as, you know, it's pretty easy. I got a Xbox Elite controller with paddles, so it doesn't impact my gameplay at all when I'm hitting the back paddle to switch my weapons, that I can just spam it very easily. For me, it helps a lot. Just do whatever helps you. I'm just trying to give you the reasons why people do certain things. Also, very random, one thing you guys need to learn is how to snake. Snaking is huge, very, very broken. I wish it wasn't in the game, but it is, and it's kind of hard to balance because it's pretty much where you lay down, you tack sprint up, lay down, tack sprint up, lay down, tack sprint up, and you're doing that behind cover. The only thing the enemies can see is your head flashing. It's super hard to hit them. This got heady spot, this is like top B on control, or no, heady B, I forgot to call out on control. That spot, very, very good. Big power position, really do recommend using this one. Pretty common, but it always works. It's super hard for the enemies to shoot you. But like I was saying on the snaking, make sure you learn how to snake. It makes it so you can get lots of information when you're behind cover, and then the enemy can't really hit you at all, which is why it's very broken. If you're still a little bit confused what I mean, I would just watch a video on it, like a whole tutorial and everything, since there is a little bit of like a certain combo you gotta do. A lot of pro players hate it, but you gotta do it to, like, you know, keep up with everyone else, you know. If you can't beat them, join them. Right there was so scary. I heard someone, so I was just sitting, I was like, dude, someone's in couches. I'm just gonna sit here and wait. Then we got this dude on catwalk. Boom, boom, bing, bong. Let's go. Arch is dead. And then now I'm close to the nuke, so I'm gonna play a little bit slower. You don't want to slow down too much. Some people, when they start shrieking up, they'll play like slower, they'll change up their playstyle, and then they choke and die. Over here, I'm just doing a little bit of a safe route, and then boom, we got the MGB. If you want to get better at the game, do recommend hitting that subscribe button. A lot of people have gotten better after subscribing, and if you want to support the channel in a free way, a like is appreciated. And you know, I think that is going to wrap up everything on here. We got some funny death comms, and so I'll let you guys enjoy those. Hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know if you guys do agree on this GA, and I'll see you guys later. Deuces.
Bro, you could have. You had to do that. I was halfway there. I was 15-0. Come on.
I almost had a UAV.
A little bit like young. I bought a yard today. Let him paint it all yellow like a bird.